Who's taking the first round in the battle for Ohio this season? We're going to find out in a minute. But first, I want to tell you about a great special that WagerTalk has going on this week. Coupon code NFL399 gets you the rest of the NFL season for just $399. Any handicapper on the site, $399. That's every play from now through the Super Bowl. And check out my college basketball special. Coupon code TRIGCBB, that's TRIGCBB, is going to get you my college basketball from opening tip on November 4th through one shining moment on Championship Monday for just $395. It's the lowest rate we're going to offer it at all season, and that's active now. Coupon code TRIG, TRIGCBB. I'm up close to 50 units in college basketball across the last 2 seasons. All right, time to talk NFL, Browns, Bengals, and something you'll hear me talk about a little bit more is my model. It's something I'm going to start referencing in write-ups. I didn't expect to really, roll this out until college basketball season. But I said, you know what? What the heck? Like, NFL hasn't been that great. These videos have been great, but my client plays, have lacked the last couple weeks. So I'm going to start putting a little bit more stock into the model, which, is something I've worked on this season and I trust a lot more for college basketball, but I'm going to start referencing it in these videos. So my model on this play gives me a spread of Browns plus 4.6. It's an average of 5 different models shooting out a spread variable, and I'm taking the average there. So that, is a notable in this regard because we're looking at like 6 and 6.5. So from a numbers perspective, for me, knowing I've got this around 4.5, which I agree with, makes the Browns plus 6.5 is appealing from a numbers perspective. Now, I got to see if my handicap matches up, and it kind of does. The Browns. I talked about the Browns on video last week. We had the under, which cashed pretty easily on our YouTube video with the Eagles, and in that game, in that breakdown, I said as soon as the Browns' offensive line starts to get healthy, I'm going to start to look to back the Browns. And I'll be honest, I had my reasons for not wanting to go against the Eagles last week, but we saw the Browns offensive line as healthy as it's been all season. And sure enough, they come out and cover the big number, pretty much no problem, and very nearly win the game. So that was a big check in the column of, Browns going forward. It's something I wanted to see. And the Browns came out and covered against a very good Eagles team and covered easily. So you should get that healthy offensive line here for the Browns again this week. And you also get Nick Chubb back. Now, I don't think he's going to be full strength. I expect him to be limited. I don't think we'll see a Nick Chubb workload here. But I do think it's important that he's back. I definitely think it helps some of the, maybe the locker room, especially, on the same week you trade away Amari Cooper, and it sort of feels like management's, maybe giving up on this season. Getting Nick Chubb back, I think, just from a locker room standpoint is a big deal. But I wouldn't be surprised if he made an instant impact because this Bengals team does not defend the run well. And, so you couple Chubb's return with the offensive line getting healthy, I definitely could see the Browns moving the ball on the ground. And that also probably helps Deshaun Watson just function a little bit because that's really been his issues at times this year is Wilson's just ability to function as the quarterback. It looks like he's still battling a shoulder injury. So he's really had a tough time forcing the ball downfield, getting the ball downfield. And teams haven't had to really respect the Browns' ability to run. I think they're going to have to respect the Browns' ability to run enough here that it could just make life easier for Deshaun Watson. And if that's the case, he probably plays better. And the Browns maybe have a little bit of an offense here, which is something that they really haven't had this season. Now, the one thing I'm really surprised at is how poorly the Browns kind of started the year defensively. I really thought that this was going to be one of the better defenses in the league. It bordered on being the best defense in the league at times last year. And they've been up against it from a field position standpoint. Their offense has put them in bad situations. And then, of course, Myles Garrett kind of battling through injury, has all sort of gone against the Browns. Garrett's still kind of dealing with the injuries to both feet, but I thought he played well last week. He made the biggest play of the game by far for the Browns, blocking that field goal that ended up getting taken back for a touchdown. And he's still a force. Even if he's banged up, he's still a force. And I expect him to be a handful for this Bengals offensive line, which is really just not that great. Go back to Sunday Night Football against the Giants. I thought the offensive line was awful in that game. The Bengals couldn't run the ball. You want to talk about a deceiving score and some deceiving statistics. Go back to Sunday Night Football, where the Bengals won 17-7 and covered the number in a game that they had really no business covering the number. The Bengals last week, they rushed for 121 yards. Half of them came from Joe Burrow on a broken scramble play where he went basically just like untouched, unaccounted for a 60-yard touchdown run. 30 of those yards came from Chase Brown on the last play of the game where the Bengals were just trying to get 1 yard to essentially ice the game. So that's 90 of the 121 rushing yards for the Bengals on those two plays. The rest of the game, they couldn't do anything in the run game. Burrow really did nothing at all throwing the ball. He never had time in the pocket in that game to throw. And the Browns have a pass rush. They still have Myles Garrett. So to me, this is a Browns defense that I think can replicate what the Giants did last week. And they've had success doing it against the Bengals in the past, especially at home. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see similar struggles from the Bengals offense that we did last week, because this run game is not impressive. Burrow still kind of has the hand injury. He doesn't look 100%, and he hasn't had a ton of time to make plays and throws downfield. So, I wouldn't be surprised to see Burrow and the Bengals struggle offensively similar to what they did last week. So when I look at it from a spread perspective and betting the side here, I think the Bengals potentially take a little step forward, even without Cooper. Yes, Cooper has now moved on. You're not going to have your number one receiver, but I would argue that it's more important getting Chubb back and having a healthy offensive line to be able to make the offense go. And on the flip side, I don't see how the Bengals are better against the Browns defense than they were against the Giants defense, where they struggled all night. And really the two touchdowns, a broken run play by Burrow, and then kind of a tack on 30-yard run as they're trying to sort of, just ice the game at the very end of the game. Between those two scores, they did really nothing, and that's very concerning. So I really like the Browns +6. +6.5 is going to be hard for me to stay off. This is one that might make my client card. So make sure you're following me on all platforms. I will post this to Twitter if it does make it as a client play at AdamTriggerWT on all platforms. But I really like the Browns here. I advise taking the points. And please, I also advise to like and subscribe to the WagerTalk YouTube channel so we can continue to bring you these free pick videos, which have been crushing it the last couple weeks. My client NFL plays have been a little bit unlucky, but these free pick videos have been winning for weeks now. And hopefully we grab another winner here. Again, Adam Trigger over at WagerTalk. Check out those two specials that I outlined at the top of the show. Coupon code NFL399 for the rest of the NFL season through the Super Bowl. And I hope everyone has a great NFL weekend. Cash all your tickets. We'll see you guys next time.